Well, speaking of that, how many trips to Lowe's or Home Depot have you made so far?
Oh, man.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bleep the Budget. I am your host, Meghan McDonald, Senior Community Relations Specialist at Forefront Credit Union. Everybody dreams about getting the keys. Well, today we are talking about everything that happens before you actually get them. From looking for a home to closing costs to unexpected surprises, there's a lot more to buying a house than just signing on the dotted line. And today we're talking to somebody who is fresh off of that experience to tell us what it's really like out there. Tony Pietrangelo, thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
Hello.
Glad to be here.
Are you glad to be here? I hope you're glad to be here.
Yes. I can share my experiences.
You got a lot going on right now, don't you?
We are busy. My wife and I are very busy right now. Purchase of a new home. We're having a baby at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So a lot.
Congratulations.
We're trying to pack in a small time.
Yes. Congratulations on both of those things. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Are you guys super excited?
We are. We're super excited.
Awesome. So Tony, tell us a little bit, what does your current living situation look like right now?
So we obviously started dating, met my wife. We got engaged, got married, and moved in. I have a condo downtown. Mm-hmm. So, it was perfect for me, kind of a bachelor pad. But then, when you start dating and move in, and we quickly ran out of space.
You got a dog with it, too.
We have a dog, a little dog with big personality.
Yes.
So then as we got engaged and get married, we started talking about, having a family, all these things. We need a house. We need more space to do all that. So obviously, once we did that, started looking at, into those things. Right now we live in a condo downtown that's jam-packed. But we did just buy a house, and we're in that process. We haven't moved in yet. We're finalizing a few things, some touches before we move in there.
Sure.
But we're in the middle of chaos right now because some stuff here, some stuff there, trying to switch everything over and get everything done.
Yeah. So chaos right now, was there any point where it was chaos leading up to actually getting the keys?
Yeah, I'd say the whole process is chaos, right? I'm from Traverse City, so I have certain things that important to me when buying a house. Location.
Sure.
Is critical to, I think, and we're thinking forever home, right? We've made that justification. Realization. Like, this is our forever home.
Okay.
Place we want to raise a family. That was part of our decision process, right after we got married and kind of talking through was, condo is great location downtown, young urban kind of setup, which is perfect for us at the time. But then having a family home, do we maybe buy a place for 5 years to bridge the gap? Mm-hmm. A little bit more space, maybe more reasonable budget. Do we rent the condo? Do we not? And then, or do we, maybe try to find a forever place and move once? Mm-hmm. So we kind of really early on were juggling those things, and then made the decision that no, we're looking for a forever home. We want to move once, particularly if we start a family. We don't want to have to go through that with the child or baby, or be pregnant and going through all of that as well. So we kind of then narrowed that down to okay, we're kind of looking for a forever home. Place where the kid can ride a bike, a lawn, all of those things we don't have in the condo per se. So kind of identified some areas that maybe we wanted to look at. And then leading up to it, we weren't quite ready to officially look, but every morning my wife would send me Zillow homes. Look at this, look at this, look at this. So she was looking right away.
Oh yeah, we're good at that.
yeah, right away. And for everything, look at this kitchen, look at that. And but we were still working on some of the other parts of this process, which is then, do we want to rent it? Do we want to sell our condo? Do we want to rent the condo? How will all that work? And then, working through a pre-approval process, which that plays a big part in that. Do you keep it? Do you sell it?
Yeah.
All of those things. So those things were all in play too when we were trying to look and go through that. Is what do we do? What do we do with these things as well? So And those now are family decisions, right, that both of us are making together, now that once we got married and did all that, it's, how do we want this to look? So,
yeah.
So we kind of worked through that process.
Sure. So did you guys at any point set a budget for how much you wanted to spend on this forever home? And if you did you stick with the budget in the end?
So, yes, I'm an engineer. So I think very much like an engineer, and I have my structure and my order on all that. So, yes, I had a budget. Danny and I, we talked about it, and we had a budget that we wanted to stay in and stay under to get a place that we want with the amenities that we want and location that we want, and then still be able to not be house poor.
Sure.
Because that's important too. So we did have a budget in mind. And again, that gets back to what we want to do with the condo, because that makes a big difference. If you, especially going through a pre-approval process, if I sell the condo or make it contingent on listing, that changes the budget versus if we kept it, and we're in a situation now where we are paying 2 mortgages until we sell the condo. Mm-hmm. So that really affects those things on, what that budget is for that transition and how you do that. And so we did have quite a bit of talk and thoughts on that. We didn't rent it before, so it's not income. It's no history of income. So
right.
It can't be. It's a pure liability. In terms of the banks view that that way. So we were lucky we were able to actually stay under our budget.
Wow.
Able to find what we wanted and stay under our budget.
That's awesome.
Yes, it worked out. And I won't go into the full story, but we had looked at some other homes that were over our budget, and man, this is nice, but it had some problems here or there, and wasn't what we were looking for. And we saw this home, we got it, and we were kind of I love the area, but it didn't really show the greatest. We didn't really see much come on. We're let's do it. Let's see what it looks like, and we wanted to sample a lot too to kind of hone down on what we were looking for, kind of fine tune that,
Yeah, it helps to see it in person.
We don't want buyer's remorse.
Yeah, exactly.
See what's going on. So we ended up seeing the house, and it was awesome and met everything we needed, was under our budget. And so we kind of, my realtor, myself, Danny, we kind of looked around. It's in an association. We looked at some other things, and we're like, what, it's meant to be, and made an offer. Okay.
Now, you had said actually that the pictures you looked at ahead of time, you weren't so sure about it, right?
Yeah, the pictures didn't do it justice.
Okay.
And that's something I certainly will make sure when we list our condo is the pictures do it justice. So in this case, the pictures really didn't do it justice. It looked way, way, way better in person when you actually looked at it. And so I think that worked in our favor. We took the chance to look at it. It looked awesome, and we all were blown away. We're all like, holy smokes, this place looks great. Let's do it. It's meant to be. We kind of all came to the same conclusion, this was meant to be. So we're making an offer.
What would you say was that moment that you and Danny looked at each other and you're like, this is it, we're doing it?
Well, we looked at the house, and we went through all the house and the property and everything, and we're kind of like, this is it. And then for me, there's an association, and it has beach and water access. So after we had already seen the house and we're pretty 99.9% sure we're going to make an offer, and once we went down there to see the association and the beach and the dock and all of that, we were like, this is it. This is what we wanted. This is kind of how we envisioned to raise our family, right? Was always in the back of our minds too when we looked at it. Play catch in the yard. We want a spot for that, right? Teach them how to ride a bike. We have roads you can ride a bike in. Get out of work on a hot day, be able to go down to the beach for a swim, take the dog. We have a dog. Take the dog down there. And, of course, the dog, by the way, loves it. He loves the beach. He loves to swim, so he approves.
Hemi approves.
Hemi approves. But those are things, that it kind of clicks. This is what we want. This is how we envision, raising a family, and how we want to do that, and be able to have those the ability to do that. So it kind of just came all together. It was a blue sky, sunny, warm day, and we were down there, and we're like, it's meant to be. This is a sign it's meant to be. So
that's awesome.
We both kind of knew, and we said, make an offer.
That's awesome. That's got to be such a great feeling to go through that, and well worth the wait, I'm sure. Speaking of wait, how long would you say that you guys were looking for a home for? How long did this process take?
So unofficially, we probably were looking for 2 years-ish, just going through Zillow, kind of seeing homes, seeing areas, seeing what the market kind of is. Officially, probably 8 months maybe.
Okay.
Probably started in November working on the pre-approvals and the financing and making those, decisions that we had to make related to the finance, right? And the home, what to do with my condo was a big part of that. And those decisions, do we rent it, do we not? And kind of digging into that a little bit. What is in our best financial interest there? And then 2, we had decided early on, we kind of made our mind up with how hot the market was at that time. We didn't want to make an offer contingent on selling our condo. Because if you're a buyer and you have 2 equal offers, one's contingent on selling a property, one's not, what are you going to take, right? You take the one that's not contingent, that's free and clear. This other one has restrictions. It may actually not go through if you don't sell the place, right? So that was big for us to be able to make that division and not to make an offer not pending on the sale of our current home.
Okay. So did you guys make the decision to sell your current home, the condo, or rent it out?
We decided we were going to sell the condo. We were going to put it up for listing. Multiple reasons on that, but one, with the new family on the way and the new baby at the way, we talked about, we don't want someone calling us at midnight telling us, they broke the microwave or they plugged the toilet and it's flooding everywhere or, this, that, or that, really valued our time would be spent at home, with the baby and all of that, just with family, not dealing with any other issues that come up. So we prioritize that as being important to us. And we did kind of look at it in terms of, once you rent it, what the taxes would be, how all of that would work. And, is it in our best financial interest to do that? And just kind of decided it wasn't at the time where we are in our life to do that. So we are going to sell that. And obviously the banks want to know that information as well. So we are going to sell it. Plus, then we realized, my wife is pregnant through this move. We didn't really want to be rushed in the move. With a drop dead, you got to be out by this date. We wanted to be able to take our time and move in and do things if needed. So we factored all of that into that decision, and fortunately we're able to make it all work. Yeah.
No, that sounds like you guys made a great decision for yourselves, so good for you guys on that. Was there anything about the journey of finding a home and then purchasing one that really surprised you about the process?
So, the home process, this is my third. Danny's first, my wife's first.
Okay.
And I would say that the financing banking side is a lot more strict or rules on it and paperwork, red tape, than say before when I had done it. And again, things change, right? Before I didn't have a home before. Now I have a home, so there's a lot of other things that get looked at. But going through that process and just learning all the things that need to be done and have to be dealt with, I think was a little different than before, where maybe there was less red tape, less rules, less requirements, a lot easier. I remember my first house, I sent an app in, signed a document, and went to closing basically. That part I think has really, there's a lot more there, and I think it surprises a lot of people. But I would say one of the things that I learned, and I ask a lot of questions too on it, which I learned a lot, like, well, why, or this or that, and I think communication is important between you know, the home buyer and the lender on that.
Yeah.
Some things that, you know, didn't make sense to me. I'm like, well, why are you asking me this? And it's like, for example, like, you know, they're asking about, I have multiple accounts at the bank I did this through, and all the money's all there, but it wasn't in the one account. It's like, well, it's over there.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but it's not over here. And I'm like, well, just ask me, you know, and I'll move it to make some of these things go away. You know, it's just communication on, as a home buyer, we don't do this every day.
Right.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But we rely on our lenders to help us through that. Like, how do you make this problem go away? Or like, if you do this, we don't have to do that. You know, things of that nature, I think are pretty helpful along that process. So once you understand that, you know, I think it gets a lot easier.
Kind of
process.
Humanizing it in a way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a big deal to anybody. You're spending a lot of money. It's everything you've worked for. Mm-hmm. We don't know those rules. I mean, we're focused on our own jobs.
Yeah.
And that, if you want to ask me something about what I do, I can give you specifics, right? But so I think that's a big key to that, is just having that communication on why, you know, or this might be a problem, but if you do this, it won't be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought I was sitting in a good shape with this, and then it's like, well, you know, yes, but, and it's like, okay, well, we can take care of that, you know, at a snap of a finger, and really help smooth the process along.
Yeah. Is there any advice you'd give to anybody out there who is, you know, maybe getting ready to purchase a new home, and just something to be aware of, I guess, to get their stuff all together?
Yeah, I mean, ask good questions, you know, make sure you understand that, and then have your own, you know, our finances were in good order. We had discussed, you know, things and what we wanted to do to be up to that point beforehand, mm-hmm. you know, in terms of, you know, we're both, before we got married, we both have car payments, all that, you know, and now mm-hmm. we're coming together and married and going in a house together. So we decided, you know, that, well, you know, we'll only have one at the time when mm-hmm. we go in to do this. So we worked on, you know, making sure some of that was in order before we went and did that. And, you know, I had my boat money, but which became my home down payment money.
Oh, no.
But you prioritize those things.
Yeah.
So, you know, we were able to make sure that we were able to have everything kind of in order mm-hmm. and there, so that when we went through this process, it would be as painless as possible. Yeah. Where, you know, where's the down payment, all of this, all of that. You know, try to have that all done in ahead of time, so that, you know, when the bank does ask these questions, those things, you know, we were maybe a little more prepared and not quite shocked on things. So, and there's things we learned along the way that, you know, I just, you know, why do I'll just pay my car off? Well, you don't need to do that. You need to do this and, you know, have it below this. Well, you know, why? There's a lot of good back and forth there. That I learned along the process. So don't be afraid to ask questions if you don't understand. There's always a reason for that. Mm-hmm. They may say do this, and you do it, but you don't know why. But there is like a really good reason behind all of that will sure. help you move forward. And so, you know, that would be my advice. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And you know, we were fortunate to be able to get in, get the house, get all that done. I hear a lot of horror stories about people that things don't go through, or time, or this or that. And then be prepared for, you know, unexpected bumps along the way, right? We, for example, we did our home inspection and found some things there. One, it's got radon, right? So now we have to work on the mitigation and the costs and all that thing and time. And the one reason it's over the limit, just over the limit. I'll say that. But just, you know, we have to take those steps to do all of those things, and we want it done before we move in, before the baby comes in. So there are those unexpected things that come up when you do home inspection, all of that. But we were lucky; the house was good.
Yeah.
But there's still even good with the taken care of with a white glove. You know, there's still things that pop up, and sure. you have to prepare for those things in that as well.
Yeah. Was there ever a moment when you thought in this process, maybe this isn't going to happen?
There was a time when, there is some confusion going in with some of the rules and things, and was pretty frustrated with my own employer. Was not responding to the income and employment verification. Which, I don't think we were overly surprised that it was going to be delayed, but just it was like 2 months or 3 months for them to respond, which,
oh my goodness,
throws a wrench in things, in how we had to navigate around that. And again, that's another thing learned there is like on questions, right? Asking the right questions. They asked them verify my income, my employment. It took like over 2 months to get it, and what they got was just, yes, and this is my base salary. But, I work overtime on top of that too, and none of that got in there. So there's all these loopholes that you have to watch out for, and if make sure that's in order. If you're an overtime person, make sure that gets, transmitted properly from your employer and all of that. So, there was delays in doing all that. That's a big part, right? Verification of all that's a big part. Even though we had our W-2s and all of our pay stubs and all of those things that we've got, check all the boxes of being submitted and up to date, and tax returns, all of that. Then there's still these other pieces, and that they just didn't do it. They didn't follow through on it. So, and that slowed things down kind of in that process. And that was, who do I have to call to get this moving?
You're inches away from owning this home, and
yes,
everything's hanging in the balance on that one thing.
So that's a loophole. It's in there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand it because I've given you my pay stubs up to date, and my W-2s and my tax returns, and what is so hard about things like that.
Right. Probably wasn't so hard. So, What about costs? Did any costs at any point catch you off guard? I know you've done this a couple times before, but maybe things have changed, like you said, a little bit.
No, I don't think costs really. I don't think there were any surprises in terms of that, in terms of closing or those things. But I do think that does play a role in, if you're shopping for rates and you're shopping around at locations, or for banks and locations and service, there are different banks do different things to offer with that. And so that is part of that. And I think that's maybe a bigger part of it that kind of had to learn and walk through that was different is, how that all gets, the rates are kind of the rates. I mean, there's some good competitiveness there, but, a lot of that gets set elsewhere. Mm-hmm. So you can shop all that around and see, but then there are the other hidden parts of that are really factor into that. Do cover costs here, we give costs, we'll cover this or we'll cover that, or we'll do this or we'll do that. That was kind of a little different. I know my before experiences were very much just like, here it is.
This is the rate.
This is it. This is it. And, okay, it's competitive, it's good. But there are a lot of other things in that nature that I think are, do play into that. And how you manage all that, right? I'm more of a planner, so like escrowing, I don't want to do that. I want to do it myself. Keep it with me rather than escrow it out, and I'll do that myself in the payment, make sure that gets done. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't. That's a personal preference, but that factors into rates and all of that too. If how you want to do and handle that. So all of that plays into that, and that's probably a bigger part that was a little different, and and then packages along with that. In terms of when we made a decision to go to like a 30-year, I always have my parents in the back of my mind going, when we started out, we were like 18% interest, so mm-hmm. This is not bad. But, recently, from the past couple years, we're much higher than where we were, say, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So You always have that in your mind, too, when you're factoring that. And again, like I said, my parents were always back there going, how lucky you got it, even at this, you don't know how lucky you got it. So that's always in our mind, too, of rates and terms and all of that, and just trying to figure that out. We knew right away this is our forever home. We wanted to be 30. We wanted the security. We had a family coming. We don't intend to move. So that plays into that that too a little bit about how you structure and do all of that.
Sure. I know you mentioned having to dip into your boat fund a little bit, which is sad. I can sympathize with that, obviously. Was there anything that you wish you had saved more money for with this process? So maybe that you didn't have to dip into the boat fund.
No, I think both of us, committed, once we got kind of engaged and set down the course to get married and to buy a house and have a family, we both were very good on trying to save where we could and budget. And I think that's a huge difference and a huge thing from my two previous homes were just me, but now being married and having a wife, that's equally as important.
Yeah.
It's not just me or what, my income, my savings. It's also her. It's our combined. And that was a huge difference and a huge benefit that we both were on the same page to do that, to be able to save a little bit and to do that and to go together on that was huge and really is what made it all work, is being both on the same page with that and both prepared to do that. So that's a big eye-opener for me was, how important that is, valuable that is, and help the process along. So
yeah,
I didn't have to do certain things because we can rely on both of our incomes and both of our savings.
That's great.
And all of that. So I think we were good, and we were kind of planning for our budget. So we did set a budget, and we did plan on that, and actually we were able to come in a little bit under, and so that turned out pretty good.
Oh, that's awesome. I don't feel like that happens very often where you come in under budget. So good for you guys.
Well, we saw some homes that were over our budget and we looked at, and there are a lot of nice features on that. But we were pretty disciplined on that. And like I said, you got fortunate. I mean, you get in a bidding war. We didn't have to really worry about that. And we were concerned about that, that people from downstate might have sold a home and had more money in cash. And I've heard stories like where I currently live in my association of people buying homes from, full price cash offers downstate, and it's like no inspections. And we could never compete with that.
No, most of us can't.
So we were fortunate to find what we got.
Yeah. Well, good for you guys. Tony, this is the fun part of the show. I don't know if you've watched many episodes, but I do a rapid fire question session. So I want you to answer the next few questions just as quickly and as honestly as you can.
Okay.
They are all related to home buying. So we'll have some fun with it.
The Family Feud.
Yes, like that. Yes. Okay. Just call me Steve Harvey.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Big yard or less maintenance?
Ooh, big yard.
Okay. DIY or hire someone?
Hire.
Open concept or cozy rooms?
Open.
New build or older home?
New build.
You sound like you're questioning that a little bit.
No, just you always want to be the first to ruin it, right? You always wanted to make it yours first.
Yes, agreed. Garage or finished basement?
Garage.
Yep.
Garage or house garage?
What'd you say? Oh,
said garage or house, big garage.
Yes. Paint first or unpack first?
Paint first.
Agreed. Favorite room?
Oh, the living room.
Biggest project already on your list?
Biggest project on my list, we have to put an egress window in. We have to open up some living space. So we've already got kind of a big project we want to do.
All right. Well, speaking of that, how many trips to Lowe's or Home Depot have you made so far?
Oh, man. Multiple a day.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Even like the lighting, just to get the right lights, because, soft white, bright white, daylight, and the right wattage. 2 or 3 a day. So 20 trips. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Yes.
And what is the first thing that you bought after getting the keys?
Oh, man.
Besides a stiff drink.
The first thing we bought, we treated ourselves to a celebration, and then we went to the Justin Moore concert. So
Okay.
It's for that. And then that was the first night we decided we're going to have carnival food. So to celebrate, we got carnival food. We bought a stand and flag with our dog's a French bulldog. We bought a flag with a French bulldog on it to put in the yard, and it's there right now. So that is like the first home purchase.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's adorable. I might need to see a picture of that. I got to ask then, since you talked about carnival food, and I'm assuming that came from the Cherry Festival, what's your carnival food of choice?
Oh man, well, I got to hit Gibbyville up, and I'm not a Gibby fry guy. I know a lot of people are, but I like I got to have a Polish sausage with the onions and peppers and an elephant ear.
Okay.
And I instantly regret it about 30 minutes later.
Oh, we all do.
But it's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah. I'm all about the corn dog, and then an elephant ear as well.
Yes.
So, yep.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to. And I didn't get one this year. Maybe we have to go to the fair.
Yes. Still a chance.
There's a chance. Summer's not over.
Summer festival every weekend. So.
There is. I think there's one this weekend.
Harbor Days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We will wrap things up with you, Tony. What is one thing that you wish someone had told you before buying?
Oh, man. That's a good question. Like I said, this is my third home, and so you learn experiences from that. Mm-hmm. It's probably just, it's the communication and the patience on that. Especially with sometimes I get frustrated if, I like to know the why and all of that. So mm-hmm. I get oh, you need to do this. I'm like, well, why? I could have done that, 2 weeks ago, and we wouldn't have had these questions. So, be patient, take your time, make sure you communicate good. That's the big thing that I would say is different from my first time, and something that I would say wasn't caught off guard, but just knew we had to do a little bit better was the communicating back and forth and just expectations, which was fine. Everything was fine. But like I said, the first time was sign my name, here's some stuff.
Good to go.
See you at the closing.
Yeah.
Or I won't even see. I just sign the paper, But there's a lot more rules and regulations, and you can be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to think we had our stuff in order. We at least tried to. We made an attempt to. And there's still a lot of going back and forth and just trying to work through the small stuff, which we have an expression where don't get paralyzed by perfection, right? Just work through it and get through that. And again, there's a lot of that dotting the I and crossing the T mm-hmm. in banking, and it can be frustrating, but just got to make it through it. Yeah,
and you guys did. So, looking back, is there anything at all that you would do differently?
No, I mean, we ended up getting what we wanted. We started fairly early in the process. The one thing I would say, we definitely deleted Zillow as soon as we bought the house.
Good for you.
To not look and see what might be up or might be on there to get any sort of remorse on that. But I think we did a really good job planning and to get where we are, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes it's meant to be, mm-hmm. and I really think that's what happened. Everything kind of lined up, and it was meant to be, and we're happy and we're excited to move in, and we, as part of the deal, we gave some time for them to get their stuff out and all that after we close. Still, that which is, part of that perfectly agreeable. We have no issue with that. But that waiting, suspense is the killer. I would say it drove us both a little crazy. We know we have the keys, we know we're paying on it. Yeah. We're being charged, but. We don't have the keys yet. We have everything signed. We don't have the keys yet. Right. They have the keys still with their stuff, and they're waiting. Obviously, we're paying for it, and taxes and mortgage on all of it. Yeah. And it's that suspense that gets you. That anticipation is oh man, just another couple days. Yeah. And we're there. So, we walked out of the room, we signed it, we had our celebration, but we still have, some time until we can actually get in and do that. So that was the only part I think that was a little hectic, uncomfortable you have to get over, is because you're so excited and you're so anticipating getting ready to start, move and all that. And you sign it on the day, and then you have we got to pump the brakes for just a second. But we still were able to do that. So, for example, my parents never saw the house anyway through the process. And so they're like, as soon as we got the keys, they're like, we'll be over to see it. And I was working out of town. And it's like, okay, wait, everybody wait.
Calm down.
Wait till we're all there. So you kind of had two of those moments, right? The day of closing, and then the actual when we got the keys for the first time and went in the house, all of us together. So that was cool. But that anticipation, it killed us for 2 weeks. They're waiting. But that's part of the deal. That's part of the process, Something I would tell people on that too is, even when negotiating price, that's part of it. That's part of the negotiations that you can use. It's non-monetarily. It's not, but it does impact those things, and you can use it, in that process. We were willing to give that time up if we could agree on the price.
Wow.
Thing. So I guess back to your original question, maybe that's some advice. There's some intangibles too on that you can employ if you get stuck in that process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's super good advice. Well, super, super happy for you guys. I think that's a great way to end it. You guys are in. Well, you will be in soon, hopefully. Housewarming party on the horizon?
I think maybe something like that. I think we may do something here when we get moved in, and enjoy one of these summer days. Maybe the beach. We'll see.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Tony. Really appreciate it. And super, super excited for you guys. Congratulations on the house and the baby. It's awesome. So.
Yes, thank you. We're excited, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Bleep the Budget. We'll see you next time.